Hello.
Hey everyone. Okay, we got a lot of reviews this weekend. So earlier today we posted a couple from last night. There's our reviews of Peppermint and hell else did I see last? Oh, The Nun. But also, Ryan is starting to do his own too for movies that are out playing near him. He lives out near LA. So
Nice.
he and AJ Young, who was the cinematographer on Jesus Bro, they're going to try to go see movies out there that probably won't come to Springfield. So they have a review up now as well that you can see on our channel. And it's a review for Little Strangers, the one that's from the director of Room, and
Okay.
Donald Gleason is in it, and Will Poulter. So check that out on our channel as well. And so this movie finally came to Springfield. It showed in some places a few weeks ago, and then got a wide release last weekend, but didn't come here. So I'm like, am I gonna have to drive to Champaign to go see this? So originally, Laura and I were planning on like, well, I guess we could drive to Champaign this weekend because this is playing in Champaign, and the Papillon remake was also playing in Champaign.
Oh.
But then this ended up actually coming to Springfield this weekend, and Papillon after a week is just gone. So like, well, that saves us a road trip.
I mean, you can always see the original. I mean, you're
Yeah,
not missing
right.
much from what I hear. So,
Yeah, I've kind of heard neither terrible or great about it. So
yeah.
I was like, well, I mean, I'll see it, but well, maybe that'll come to Springfield next weekend. So you were originally supposed to see Peppermint last night.
Yes. Yes.
You got the better movie, man.
That's what I hear. Yeah. I'm kind of disappointed in that because
Uh-huh.
I mean, I didn't think Peppermint was going to be like this amazing movie, but I figured it'd be a fun little action flick, and Jennifer Garner's got experience doing that kind of
That's
stuff, so
true.
I figured she might actually be all right in this. But
This
yeah,
piece of shit, man. Oh my fucking god.
Peppermint.
Peppermint is. So, have you seen? So, the movie Searching is the John Cho film in which his daughter goes missing, and it's one of those like the two Unfriended movies where a majority is from the point of view of like his desktop. So we're talking like chat logs, Facebook, webcams, news footage, all of that. So it's certainly in that subgenre of movies, whereas those two are more horror films. This is a missing persons thriller. And did you see either of the Unfriended movies?
I did not.
Yeah.
Um, Quite frankly, I felt like it would have lowered my IQ
You're
seeing
not
those
wrong.
movies. Um, like when I saw the trailer, like the dark web one looked more interesting than the first
And it
Unfriended
was.
because at least there's an entity there, dark web
Right.
wise, as opposed to
A supernatural
yeah,
ghost revenge movie.
yeah, like that's what the first Unfriended looked like to me. For
Yeah.
how they were playing it, it probably
Mm-hmm.
was not even that, but
It
was it just some random person? I bet it.
Oh, in Unfriended Dark Web? No, it's not. It's a whole thing
It's a whole
that was
thing.
like it was kind of preposterous, honestly. But Unfriended, Dave and I saw both Unfriended and Unfriended 2, and he hated both of them.
Yeah.
I really didn't like the first Unfriended movie. The second one I was more or less kind of fine with, really. I
Right.
thought it was significantly
It
better than the first.
it looked like if nothing else, from the trailer for the first movie to the second movie, it looked like they had learned the lessons
They
from
kind
the
of
first
did.
movie and kind of worked on it going into the second one.
Yeah, they did. There's things that are done way better in the second movie. Noticeably, like it has more likable characters and the acting is better and the plot's better too. But Dave hated both of those. So of course, the one of these that's genuinely like really really fucking good is the one
He
that Dave
missed.
missed. Is the one that he missed out on. But like so Unfriended 2, I was like, yeah, okay, this is fine because I'm comparing it to the first one, and I'm like, all right, well, I mean, it's better than that. This one really stands on its own outside of those two movies. This one is genuinely a really, really damn good thriller. And it really sets up its heart from the very beginning of the movie, because it's got like this whole 5-minute sequence at the beginning of the film that is showing all the years of this family, a husband, wife, the birth of their child, the mother getting a sickness and then dying. And while it's showing,
it's Up. It's the montage from Up.
That's
But
thank
with
you,
but with a
dude.
child.
Yeah, I was thinking that
Yeah,
too. I was
that's-
like, this is like an internet version of like the opening sequence from Up.
This is the live action version of the
Dude,
opening sequence.
I was thinking the same thing, but it was still working for me, because I mean,
No, it was very. I mean, yeah, it was very heartfelt.
you know what was really working for me about it though was that, like, okay, we're seeing this family growing through the years, while it's also showing things like YouTube growing
Yes.
and messing, like it shows YouTube
Facebook.
from like 10 years ago, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh boy, I haven't seen that in 10 years. Like old YouTube, like it's
The old layout.
yeah, the old layout, like Yahoo Messenger, and
AIM was on.
AIM-
AOL. Yeah,
AIM
Instant
was on
Messenger.
there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
so it's also kind of showing how internet video and email communication and all that has also grown and gotten better and deeper throughout the years, and that was really interesting me, and also because it was just
Yeah.
it was a trip back in time for sure.
It was neat how it was neat watching them tie everything
Yeah.
into that.
So that was really cool. That was almost a really cool short film in and of itself, much like Up, only with like only if you added YouTube to it. So it really works.
Only John Cho loses a kid, doesn't kidnap one. So
True,
it's a
yeah.
little different.
Yeah. And I just liked even look, I mean, I'm probably going to compare it to this movie again a couple other times, but even to compare it to Unfriended again, just the filmmaking techniques that they do in this versus that film it's more interesting, it's more captivating, the movie is way more entertaining. It's really never just there kind of on a static image of Skype or a Facebook chat. Like, yeah, that is a majority of the movie where you're seeing Facebook video, news footage, chat logs, FaceTime, a lot of FaceTime, but it is using filmmaking techniques along with it.
Yeah.
It is still doing a lot of pan work, music cues, zooms. It does feel unlike, like, okay, I thought Unfriended 2 was all right, but I was like, you don't need to see this in a theater. You can just kind of watch it on your desktop and probably get more out of it. This, though, really did feel like a theatrical experience. Like,
Yeah.
between a lot of the different camera tricks that they're doing, jumping back and forth between news footage, security footage, and a lot of stuff like that. This, to me, did feel... It took that gimmick and made it feel theatrical.
Yes, it did. The editing is done very well. Like something like that, where you're jumping back and forth between different types of media.
Yeah.
If you're not done right, can be really jarring.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was more seamless because the cuts were... A lot of stuff was, instead of cutting to a chat log or cutting to email, he was on the computer and it was multiple. He had multiple tabs open.
Yeah.
So it was just going back and forth, and the camera was just naturally panning back and forth across the screen,
Yeah.
which was a lot better than doing, what some people would do, would be like jump cutting to these
Sure.
different things, or jump cutting back and forth between these two things, and it wasn't necessary because of the way they set it up.
It does stuff that is really smart too. Like, it actually is kind of providing commentary in a lot of areas, such as more so in, like, when something tragic like this happens, a missing person, and how that kind of blows up on Twitter and
Yeah.
blows up online. You see different things that people are talking about with it on Twitter, so it's certainly showing like trolling in that regard,
Yeah.
but also another thing too, whereas before this case goes public and John Cho is talking to different people that his daughter knew, you see a little bit of this in the trailer where the girl's like, look, we barely knew each other, she was just at our study group because I'm trying to get into Berkeley next
Yeah.
year. It then, once this case blows up and goes viral and is like trending on Twitter, then you see those same people like,
She was my best friend.
Yeah.
Getting all 100,000 views from YouTube, and oh my god, I'm so sorry. I feel for you. And then the thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
The random Reddit thread. At times like this, it's always the dad, or a random perv did it. You know.
like one tweet like mentions Gone Girl.
Yes, she totally went Gone Girl. I was just like, wow, this is. So it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. It does add social commentary in there.
Even dude in the chat's like, nah, always blame the
Always
dad.
blame the dad. 9 times out of 10, it's
Uh-huh.
the dad. Fucking dads, man. What the hell?
Like the movie really did have everything but like Nancy Grace like yelling
Oh my
guilt at
God,
the dad.
yes.
It had everything like but that, or an equivalent of that. Like, but no. So I was incredibly entertained by this film. Like, I hated the fact that a couple times I had to use the restroom during this. I was like, shit, there's like 45 minutes of this movie left. I'm like, I feel like, so I quickly got up, ran, came back, went like, okay, did I miss anything? Which I haven't done that in a long time. And then had to again, because the damn water was going through me apparently. So I got up, but then something like really important was about to happen, so I
Yes.
sat back down and was just like, ooh,
Hold it.
hold it, man, hold it, Jesus fucking Christ. And then found a good window. But so I had thoughts in my head about where this was gonna end, because a lot of trailers and I think some posters for it too talk about like a twist at the end and where the movie goes in its final act. So you hear something like that and instantly you have a lot of theories in your head about like, okay, what do I think that this might be really?
Right.
And from here on out is where we get into spoiler territory on the movie. So if you want to back out of that, I totally understand. I get it, especially if you're planning on seeing the movie. But as you can tell from what we're talking about, like we both like this movie. So from here on out, to get into the final act of the film, I will say that what does happen, I didn't see coming. Like, certain aspects of it I kind of did, but
Yeah.
not who it actually is and why and
Yeah.
and what eventually kind of did happen.
And that comes into like, if I had the one criticism of the film,
Yeah.
it's that third act plot twist that seems a little far-fetched,
Uh-huh.
a little bit too tie the ribbon around the present type thing. And I mean, it's not bad. Like, it's certainly still well done, but I feel like it loses a little bit. I mean, not enough to where I'm just like, oh my god, can't believe they just did this. But it's just
No,
like,
it didn't shit the bed.
no, it didn't. But it was still like, I mean, you guys couldn't have figured out a resolution.
It does explain
That-
itself. Like,
does.
It
No,
does
I mean,
do
yeah.
that. Like, it does take the time to really kind of explain it in a way. And I was kind of expecting it to go a far out route in the last act, because when I was in Austin in July, when I was on Double Toasted, this was the movie that Corey had to go see in the morning for a preview screening. And when he came back, he was like, yeah, I just got back from searching. He goes like, it's really good. He goes, it gets pretty out there in the last part. So I was kind of expecting it to
Well,
kind of get a little weird towards the
when-
end.
The great thing was, okay, so the high school, when I was looking at it, if this gives you any hint of what's going to happen, the mascot for her high school is the catfish.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of foreshadowing there. Like, I
Yeah.
saw that going, there's no fucking way a high school would be named Catfish. This is a plot point. There's no mass. What kind of, like, I've heard of orphans, I've heard of chinks. There's no catfish. No.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
There probably is, but why?
Yeah, and he's not lying about those names, by the way. There was a town in Pekin that was called that several decades
yeah,
ago.
the Pekin Chinks.
Yeah,
Yep,
that was
town
a
in
thing.
Illinois, yep.
That was a
Oh
thing.
yeah.
So
and the Centralia orphans.
the
And yeah, oh no, we
you
have
see what happens when you mess with the orphans?
we have two different high schools that have the pretzel as their mascot.
Yeah.
Two, not one, but two.
Right.
So yeah, there's weird names, but Catfish just, I don't know, of all of them.
I
I believe in chink, but I can't believe Catfish.
that was the part of the explanation and the resolution that I kind of thought, like, all right,
Yeah.
this is probably going to involve. They're dropping a few hints about
Yeah.
this, and I think this is going to come into play,
She-
and
she
it
was chatting,
does.
and she was chatting to on like a streaming platform, kind of like Twitch.
Yeah, yeah.
And the person she's talking to, their username is Fish and Chips, and I'm just like,
And the picture that they used, I was like, that's not this person.
that's stock footage.
Yeah,
That's stock footage.
It is how it does lead into him discovering what happened is really convenient. Like it
Yeah.
really is just a gigantic coincidence.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, let's see where they go with this. And I will say that the people who were involved with it, like, I didn't see that coming. I was like, oh,
No.
okay, this part of it kind of got me. When you find out who it is and the reason why they did it, it was like, you went through these really complicated lengths to do all of this when there had to have been an easier fucking way out of this situation.
Yeah, admit that it happened and pray for forgiveness instead of straight up. Although
use some leeway that you probably have.
Although with the ending being what it was, it kind of lets them off the hook a little bit
Uh-huh.
because they're no longer murder charged.
Except for possibly the one guy who did.
Yes, that one. That
like-
was. I forgot about that. Okay, so yeah, there's the one.
There's the one,
But he was a rapist and a drugger. Who cares about him, right? Fuck that guy.
fuck that dude. If anything, should get a promotion. So, but I thought that in the last like minute of it, when it ended, I was like, you know what? Like, this was a really suspenseful thriller. It had me on edge throughout most of it. And when it
does.
got to the very last scene, I was also like, you know what? That also was a very sweet film. Like, when it wrapped up, it did kind of bookend some things from the very beginning of the film. And I've now seen 3 movies that do this gimmick, and the other 2 movies ended on a total downer, and I can understand why someone would maybe want that out of this movie too. But having seen the other 2 movies and then this one, I was like, I'm fine with this movie having really kind of a touching ending.
Yeah, like
As convenient as it is.
I think it lost its teeth a little bit at the end there. I mean, it's sweet, and the ending, it tugged. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
This wouldn't happen in real life, but this makes me feel
Yeah.
good. That's why it's a movie. Why it's fiction.
Sure.
We can go to escape our real problems, but
Mm-hmm.
it was nice because that was the thing. Like, you know, he starts to find out, of course, that he doesn't know his daughter at all.
Yeah.
Because they drift apart because I think his wife dies in 2015 and this was set in 2017.
yeah.
So they've really drifted apart in those last 2 years and really didn't talk about her at all.
Uh-huh.
So it obviously drives a wedge there. Not intentional. I don't think he didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like you're actively rooting for this guy to get his comeuppance or anything. He's a great dad. He really is throughout the entire movie, and he goes to extraordinary lengths to try and help find his daughter. And No, I mean, he's a good dad. He worries about his kid. He also comes to the realization that my daughter's a teenager and maybe I don't know everything as well as I'd like. Which that sets a bad precedent, really, kind of, for if parents go into this like, oh, see, this is why I want to know everything that you're doing. It's like, pump the brakes.
So maybe it's good Dave wasn't at this movie.
Know your kids, know what they do, know who they are, and then apply your parenting using that method. Don't just blanket, oh, I need to know everything that you're doing all the time. Give them a little bit of space, but keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
This movie is not...
Let him outside on Jimmy Shaker Day.
I can see a lot of parents, especially parents right around the teenage years, who are going to go into this movie and come out of it going, yep, reinforce their ideals that they need to have their kids under lock and key. And no, don't do that, because that makes things worse. I can't tell you where the balance is because everybody's different.
Yeah.
But somewhere there is that perfect line of letting my kids have freedom and still being able to kind of guide them and control where they're going without forcing them into a direction. So that's, sorry, that was very...
No, I see what you're saying.
Commentary.
No, I totally see what you're saying.
It's part of this movie. It really is.
So maybe it's good it did have a sweet ending.
It did, yeah. I mean, it does bring them back together. That's for sure.
You know what? One more thing I'll say about it too is I really enjoyed seeing Deborah Messing in this film. Like, I really liked this very different kind of role that she's playing.
Not the Grace Deborah Messing.
Yeah, not at all. Like, even before it gets to the last act of the film, I was like, I'm really enjoying seeing her play this kind of role. I'm like, she's pulling off playing. She's got the cop look down. Like, she has a look in her face that.
You mean, is she gay? Is she not gay?
Oh,
no, that's not what it means. No,
she's rocking some suits in this film. Like,
she's rocking those pantsuits. That's for sure.
She's playing a cop who does look like she's been on the job for a while and has seen some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's just kind of got her hair just kind of pulled back a little bit. Is just wearing a regular suit. Like, she's no
nonsense.
I really like seeing her play this kind of role. I would like to see her play more roles like this, like
roles in general.
Well, Will and Grace is back. I was never really that big a fan of that show, but it's back. Murphy Brown, I'm looking forward to that coming back.
Oh, good lord! I don't think you could do Murphy Brown anymore.
I think you could now with like that 24-hour news is so big and everything, and that show was always about kind of political commentary and news anyway. That's one reboot where I'm like, I could see that coming back.
But I mean, you get the nice commentary from Murphy Brown. I mean, it's not nice, but not scathing and vile and hateful. It doesn't work today. You have to be vile and hateful anymore, apparently, to get news. It's ridiculous.
You know, if they play into that, they might be able to get some material out of that too.
They very much
from
could.
What you just said.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, they could definitely do it that route and go, where have we come,
Yeah.
Where do we stand in this new age of everybody has to hate everybody? If you don't believe what I believe, you're a Nazi or you're a left-wing libtard. It's that shit's got to stop. It's just got to stop.
There's a whole glossary of that in
Fucking Jesus.
Death of a Nation review feedback.
Oh, God.
It's amazing. Grab some fucking popcorn on that.
That's why we have Dinesh D'Souza. Because of that divide, I have to listen to Dinesh D'Souza. Please come back together so we can just all realize that he's a fucking asshole and just get rid of him. Just ship him off to an island. Give him whatever he wants.
Well, he'll probably get another Razzie. Damn. He'll probably get another Razzie award. But I want to see that episode of Coach that they made for the proposed reboot of Coach, and it never made it to air. You don't remember this? This was a couple years ago.
No.
They were gonna do like a reboot of Coach, and they shot a first episode of it, but it never made it to air because they looked at it and was like, I don't know, this seems too dated.
Probably because it was.
I love Coach though. I fucking love that show.
They wheel out the corpse of Jerry Van Dyke, just kind of sitting there going,
Yeah. I leak that shit. All right. Well, Dave and I are gonna see. There's a new religious movie playing here. That's God Bless the Open Road, or whatever the fuck it's called. Like, it's from the directors of God's Not Dead.
That's a fucking Lone Star song, or not Lone Star, Rascal Flatts.
Yeah.
It's like God Bless the Broken Road or
That's
something.
it. That's the name of the movie. Yeah, that's the name of the film.
Oh my fuck. They named a movie after a Rascal Flatts song? What the fuck? They're
I'll
running
bet
out of
you.
titles.
You know what? I'll bet you it was called something else, and then they changed it to that once I Can Only Imagine got popular. Yeah,
Maybe
we'll
we
be
can
seeing
sucker
that
some
this
more
week.
people into it.
I've never heard of this movie till a couple of days ago.
It's a
but
good
we'll be
song.
seeing it.
It's a nice song, but
I can't even think of what the
it's about a guy who's not had a straight and narrow. He's basically singing to his current lady that
Oh, okay.
you know, I haven't always had things haven't been on easy. I haven't always had the straight and narrow path, but all those broken roads, all the broken heartaches led me to
Yeah.
you. So it can't be all that bad. So God bless that.
That is
broken
not the plot of the movie that
Probably
I read.
not.
That is
Probably
not the plot of the
I
movie.
cannot imagine that
Yeah.
you could make any feature-length film out of a song like that. I can't. I mean, well, you could. It's rom-coms all the time, but
True.
that's not Christian. That's just... that's fucking How to Be Single. That's what
Or
that
that
is.
Jennifer Lopez movie coming out in a couple of months.
Lopez.
All right, everyone. We'll be back during the week with that religious movie that I've already forgotten.
abomination.
That I've already forgotten the name of. So, see you guys. Take
Bye.
care. Thanks for watching.